What looked amazing in the ads, but turned out to be useless after you bought it. When I was like 6 or so, there was a commercial for Transformers underwear that came out just before Christmas where the kids wearing them could transform. They were the only thing that I asked for Christmas that year. I forget what my parents/Santa got me, but I distinctly remember being disappointed that it wasn't Transformers underwear. Later that day my grandparents showed up, and when I opened the Transformers underwear they got me, it was by far the most excited I have ever or will ever be in my life. I went to the bathroom and put them on, then went back into the living room and proceeded to try to transform in front of my family while they laughed at me. I remember my grandfather joking, maybe you need to plug them in first. That is easily the most let down I have ever been by a commercial. I had the same thing with a Tinkerbell costume. It was advertised as real wings and the kids in the commercial would fly around with the costume on. Yep. Got a Batman costume when I was pretty young, like 5 I guess. I got on the tailgate of my dad's truck and jumped to the carport support pole, the bat pole, which was just a steel pipe about 1 inch diameter. Smashed my nuts hard. Grandpad. Bought one for my tech-illiterate mom-in-law for Christmas. Spent 3 days trying to set it up with tech support before admitting it was a piece of $200 crap. Ended up returning it and customizing an older Android tablet for her. Made it so she couldn't install or buy anything without a password, hid all the system controls so you can't find them without search, then hid search. Installed only the few apps she needed and hid and disabled the rest. Made it so I could remotely update and change things from my iPad. Installed a better keyboard for her eyes and we were good to go. Her favorite apps are Bingo and YouTube where she watches nature videos all day. She has a radio installed and an app for local news. Smile. Slap chop. Tried slicing already sliced apples and it just broke. Forget you, Vince. Yes. I bought one and it broke on the first slap. Now I've got to chop things with a knife like a fucking chump. I hate chopping vegetables, so I bought one of those automatic things they show on TV. A whole diced onion in 30 seconds. It mainly just smushed everything and got clogged up and took forever to clean. Turns out a knife and cutting board is easier. I got one that was called a mandolin. That thing looked straight up dangerous. The only way to be sure not to flay the skin off your hands was to be super careful, but you needed a lot of force to jam the food through the blades. Somehow me or my husband registered it for our wedding, and the thing was so terrible we each accused the other of registering for it. When I was a kid, I remember seeing a commercial about a remote control car that could drive on the walls. Of course I was fucking amazed. Turns out it was a 10 centimeters long car that had a vacuum system built in, made a lot of noise and was super slow. Yep. And half the time it would just fall off the wall. For me it didn't even stay on the wall for literally 1 second. I have a new treadmill and elliptical I can sell you. But where will you hang clothes? Right? My clothes hang on the right side of the treadmill, my wife's are on the left. Showing my age here. One Christmas when I was a kid I was dying to get the electronic football game. Opened up my presents and there it was. Got it set up and plugged it in and the bastards just vibrated all over the place and fell over. That's first down. Set up all 22 players again for second down. Rattle hum hum splat. Same thing. You can see where this is going. Never played the damn thing again. There were these things called bendaroos that I would often see on TV as a kid. They were these bendy things you could stick together and build stuff out of, and they looked so cool. My cousin bought a pack of them and invited me to play with her. The bendaroos turned out to be these pathetic waxy sticks that you could not really build with. They didn't bend easily, they didn't really stick together, but damn did they make your hands and everything else around sticky. I picked these up for my son years ago and I swear he got two out, tried to stick them together, twisted them, screwed them into something resembling a twine ball and walked away. The whole box sat in the end cupboard looking unopened for about 6 years, and every year I went to get the Christmas decorations out I'd see them and think, what the bloody hell are those? I'd remember, shrug and leave them be for another year. There was this sandwich ad commercials specially addressed to kids. It was saying that if you take a bite you go on an adventure. It also showed the kid that ate it teleporting into a spaceship and going on a space adventure. Bought it and it was just a regular ham. Peddy paws, that rotary nail file for dogs. It would have taken at least 20 minutes of filing per nail, and no dog is going to hold still that long. What a waste of money. Was it just a Dremel? We have always used those for our dogs. 15 minutes total. Must have been cheaply built, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's a really awful Dremel. An ultrasonic dishwasher device. You fill up the sink, add some liquid soap and turn on the USB-powered ultrasonic vibrator device that will peel off any dirt from your dishes. All you need to do is rinse after 5 minutes. Total flop. It turns out we don't have that tech yet. And it would waste too much water. Tooth whitening kit. Comes with some gel and a blue LED thing you put in your mouth for a few minutes twice a day. Used it for 2 weeks with absolutely no change, $30 down the drain. The LED is a total waste of time and has been proven to do nothing for whitening your teeth. Just get a hydrogen peroxide kit, no light, and that's as good as they get. And there's no such thing as a kit that works in 10 minutes, you need to have the gel on your teeth for at least 30 minutes at a time, and the longer the better. It won't harm your teeth or wear them away or dissolve them, although some people's teeth are more sensitive and can experience discomfort and pain. The inaudible to humans cat deterrent device is you're supposed to be able to hide in your garden. It was really loud and piercing and utterly ineffective. I eventually gave up and got a cat. Now only one cat poops in my flower beds, which is an improvement, and I know what he eats. I think for these it depends on how old you are, and therefore how good your hearing is. The neighbors at my mom's place have one, and it's such an annoying high-pitched sound to me, but my mom and the neighbors, 50 plus, apparently don't hear it at all. One of those Dyson fans, it looked awesome, you could your arm through it. It was expensive, loud, overly bright LED, collected dust like a mofo, and worst part was that it blew with the capacity of a Pack-A-Day asthmatic smoker. The main selling point of the Dyson fan, it makes less noise. The main problem with the Dyson fan, instead of white noise it produces a high-frequency whine that's really annoying and transmits through any solid materials. Returned mine for a refund after 1 day. Garbage thing. A drone. So cool. Fly around and look at stuff from above. Then what? Don't use it. Pain in the ass to carry around and set up. My sister got a really cheap one for her birthday 1 year that had been previously owned by someone. She was flying it fairly high and I guess it lost connection or something because it just took off into the sky. I'm sure it eventually crash landed somewhere, but our house was surrounded by forests so we never saw it again. Might still be hanging out in a tree branch somewhere. That screen door cover with magnets so you or your dog could go in and out as you please without letting bugs in. Made with the cheapest possible materials that would rip immediately. I think it depends on the brand. We have one we used all summer and it's held up great with 2 big dogs running through it all the time. However, at my last place my landlord installed one and it was useless after about a month. And that was only people gently walking through it. Anything that is supposed to remove hair permanently. Or restore it permanently. I hated my epilator the first time I tried it, though to be fair, no one says they're painless, but after the first time or two it really does get better. I use mine about once a week on my legs and armpits, shave right after, and that's it. No more shaving every day, which is great. And in theory, I shouldn't need to do any hair removal at all after a few years of this. The armpits still kinda suck, but it's a small area so I get through it. The legs are just a mild prickle now. Everything I bought as a young child from a mail-order joke shop. That includes X-ray specs that were not in any way X-ray. If I remember correctly, it had plastic red thread in the eyepieces of a cardboard glasses frame. Handshake electric shock. This was just a wind-up thing that buzzed when your victim pressed a button. It was so bulky and obvious, mounted in the palm of your hand. Wonder Pets. Edit, named sea monkeys in most other places, need I say any more? The advertisement in the catalogue had cartoon animals. These were barely visible specks of dust. Fake dog turd. This mostly looked convincing. Apart from the flat area on top from the plastic molding manufacturing process. As long as you didn't look at that, it was convincing. One item that did live up to the advertisement in that mail-order joke shop catalog was the fake chewing gum. The outer part did look very similar to the real band. And when you pulled out the fake piece of gum, a mousetrap mechanism would slam, hard, onto your index finger. That was actually painful. And delivered on the promise and did work.